How to play Sorry Rivals Edition. Greetings, folks. Today in our Sports Encyclopedia series, we talk about how to play Sorry Rivals Edition. So let's start. Sorry Rivals Edition is a modified version of the popular game that's played with a few interesting changes. The basic objective of the game is to be the first player to get all of the pawns from start to home. Rules of Sorry Rivals Edition. The game begins with the layout of the board and the shuffling of the deck. After the shuffle, 5 cards are dealt out to each player, and the rest of the deck is placed face down on the board. Players are allowed to look at their own cards, but must keep them hidden from their opponents. Once all this is done, each player is required to pick up their color and put their pawns in their matching color start space. The youngest player in the party begins the game, and then the turns alternate. In their turn, each player must play 1 card from their hand to discard the pile and follow the instructions written on the card. They must move their piece based on the instructions on the card. It's necessary that players move their pieces clockwise around the board unless it's specified in the instruction. Once the first move of the player is complete, they must draw 1 card from the deck. As the player moves around the deck, their pawns are allowed to jump over other pawns, but the jump space is also counted as 1 space. If a player lands on the same space as their opponent's pawn, they must bump that pawn back to its start space. It's not allowed for the 2 pawns of the same color to occupy the same space. The players are not allowed to bump their own pawns. If a player manages to land by exact count on the beginning of a slide, indicated by a triangle, and that slide indicates their color, then they must slide their pawn to the end of the slide and bump off all pawns, including their own. If the player lands on a slide that does not have their own color, or in the middle of a slide, they must stay put. Whenever the opportunity arises, the player must move even if they don't want to. A player loses their turn if they're unable to move. When a piece makes it all the way around the board, it must continue moving into its safety zone and then into its home. The player is not required to move into their home by exact count. How to win in Sorry Rivals Edition. The first player that manages to get all 3 of their pawns into their home space wins. If you like the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.